Superman estreia agora no dia 10 nos cinemas de todo o Brasil, um filme muito aguardado pelos fãs, com direção e elenco fantásticos. A produção promete trazer uma nova visão do icônico herói, combinando ação, emoção e efeitos visuais de tirar o fôlego. Os fãs já estão ansiosos para conferir como a história será adaptada para os dias atuais, mantendo a essência do personagem que conquistou gerações. O diretor e o elenco compartilharam suas expectativas sobre o filme, destacando a paixão e dedicação envolvidas no projeto. O diretor ressaltou que a equipe buscou honrar o legado do Superman, enquanto os atores falaram sobre a responsabilidade de interpretar personagens tão queridos pelo público. Com críticas positivas já surgindo, tudo indica que o filme será um grande sucesso, renovando o amor pelo Homem de Aço nas telonas. Vamos ver o que eles falam sobre essa superprodução.
I thought we might do an interview. I could fill you in on all the behind the scenes.
I was very afraid about finding the right Superman, and luckily I saw David reading on the first day, and I was like, holy God, that's amazing. He was reading from a couple of scenes, but one of the main scenes was the scene where he's arguing with Lois about his place in the world. And it wasn't the exact scene. I had rewritten it so that it was just an audition scene, so it didn't give anything away. And anyway, he was great. And I think that, you know, you see him in that scene in the movie and you realize this guy's just a fantastic actor, and he also just happens to look and act and sound a lot like Superman.
I wear my trunks on the outside of my pants, like, it's liberating. I'm so grateful to have James as director. To have a director who is so known for spectacle, and for heart as well, but I think he has a great simplicity to the heart in his films. To realize that he also is interested in incredibly complex dialogue. There was nothing that was off the table. There was nothing that was not of interest to him.
Like that, and then slapping the side of the thing, like time to take off. Yeah.
He represents everything that's good and hope, and for me, kind of, I guess he transports me back to being, you know, a little kid, and that's what I feel being on these sets and seeing David in the costume. It kind of transports me into this kind of giddy childhood like state.
It was amazing in the moment. I was always aware of Lois Lane. I grew up on the Chris Reeve Superman with Margot Kidder, and I just thought she was amazing and so smart and funny and sharp, and it still kind of feels like a dream. I can't believe we're here embodying these iconic characters. And the response from the outside has been so amazing. It feels like it's multiplied the excitement just getting to talk to people on the outside about what these characters mean to them.
I just flew into Midtown and started attacking people, demanding for Superman to show up.
Yeah, it's all in the article.
That would mean I'd actually have to make it through your writing, Clark.
I mean, he's iconic for the best, the top, the invulnerable, the most power, uncorruptible. When you want to, what is the highest, most upper echelon you can think of? That's Superman. And also, he's probably going to be on your side unless you're evil, right? So you can always count on him. That's the idea. You'd think, if everything's going terribly wrong, if only Superman were here.
Cleveland is actually the place where Superman was created. Siegel and Schuster are both native Clevelanders. So the idea that we were shooting in the town in which this character was born was something very poetic about that. The second part is it Cleveland has a lot of those buildings from an era that spoke to us, that were kind of unchanged from those, those times. And the look of the film that we wanted, that Beth Mickle, our production designer, and James really came up with, there was a lot of that just that organically existed in Cleveland. Just the look of the architecture felt like it was the right fit for us. And then the third part is Cleveland couldn't wait to get us there. They were so thrilled to have us, and you kind of want to be where you're wanted. And just the time that we spent shooting there, the locals couldn't have been more welcoming, couldn't have been more excited that we were there to make a film about their hometown hero. So it was a great call.
Thank you. We are set.
I suppose it's blown up quite big. So put me in the center of the.
One of the biggest inspirations for this film, especially from a visual perspective, but also tonal perspective, is Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's All-Star Superman. So taking the visual language of that graphic novel, but then adding in an element of, I guess, realism of, of the handheld camera that I use to kind of keep the characters more grounded and feeling as if it's a part of our real world within this incredibly big and colorful and bright environment. And then also having some of the grit of the 70s movies that I love and that the original Superman was one of. To keep some elements of that, I think it was mostly a combination of those three things.
We just push into him a little bit as he realizes that.
Costume department has done an incredible job designing this suit from scratch. The first time I saw a glimpse in the monitor, after we had shot something, I saw a little bit of playback of the suit, of me in the suit on camera. I thought, yeah, that looks pretty freaking cool. And then just today when we did the publicity photo shoot, I think that was the first time that I said, like, oh, this is yeah, I mean, it's an iconic look.
Let's try this and see if it all works out.
Okay.
I think the thing that jumped out to me was that it was a James Gunn script, and his style of writing. You can kind of instantly imagine what this film becomes. Having seen a lot of his work and loved it, reading the script, I was like, oh, fantastic! It's James Gunn's take on a Superman story and world, and all these exciting characters and ideas that he's focused in on from the comics. So that's what was thrilling about it.
Like that, and then slapping the side of the thing, like time to take off. Yeah.
Curta o vídeo, inscreva-se no canal e ative o sininho para receber notificações sempre que novos conteúdos forem publicados. Assim, você não perde nenhuma novidade e fica por dentro de tudo que compartilhamos por aqui. Muito obrigado.